Side effects may include diarrhea, dizziness, cough, vomiting, weakness, or ankle swelling.
Nuedexta made a difference by reducing my PBA episodes.
Ask about Nuedexta and go to Nuedexta.com.
Well, here's something new. Tabloid star Lindsay Lohan may be famous for her trips to rehab, and she is, but her next pilgrimage may be to Mecca instead of a clinic in Santa Monica. On Monday, Lohan deleted all of her Instagram posts, by the way, that's a big deal in Hollywood, and upgraded her bio to read Akalam Salam, an Arabic phrase meaning peace be upon you, assuming I'm pronouncing it correctly. Lohan lives, by the way, in the United Arab Emirates. She's been spotted wearing a headscarf, and she even carried a Quran around in 2015. So many of the fans she somehow still possesses are speculating she has converted to Islam. Muslims around the world announced support for her online, but her mother says she's simply doing a social media cleanse. Well, that's about it for us tonight. Tune in every night at 9 to the show that is the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. Set your DVR and stay tuned for Sean. He's next.
Tonight, President Obama's blaming everybody but himself for his failed legacy.
The ability of Republican leaders to rile up their base, helped along by folks like Rush Limbaugh, some commentators on Fox News.
They, including the president, should step up and get his people in line and tell them to grow up and accept the fact that they lost the election.
And Reince Priebus calls for Democrats to accept the election results. Newt Gingrich is here to react to this all.
We come not to appeal to Donald Trump.
And David Webb traveled to D.C. to speak with anti-Trump protesters at Al Sharpton's rally.
Everybody keeps talking about let's give him a chance. He didn't give the President Obama a chance.
He is here tonight to tell us what they said. All of that plus Michelle Malkin joins us. Hannity starts right here, right now.
And welcome to Hannity, and there are just 4 days left until the biggest liberal crybaby of them all leaves office. And true to form, he's not going away quietly, and that is tonight's opening monologue. So President Obama continues to wind his way out of the Oval Office, and like we've seen over the past 8 years, he's blaming everybody but himself for his failed policies. In one of his final interviews as Commander-in-Chief, President Obama once again tried to blame talk radio and Fox News as being responsible for the rise in partisanship during his presidency. Take a look.
Well, what is true is that the ability of Republican leaders to rile up their base, helped along by folks like Rush Limbaugh, some commentators on Fox News, I think created an environment in which Republican voters would punish Republicans for cooperating with me. That hothouse of back and forth argument and really sharp partisanship, I think has been harmful to the country.
President Crybaby blaming everyone else for the divide in the country. Well, it makes for a good talking point, but it's not the truth. Now, he can try to claim the mantle of civility, just like he attempted to do in his farewell address last week, but the facts say otherwise. Now, President Obama has been leading the way when it comes to divisive rhetoric. You want to remember a few of these instances, some of the things, just a few of them that he said over the many years. Take a look.
So it's not surprising then that they get bitter. They cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them.
I need you to go out and talk to your friends and talk to your neighbors. I want you to talk to them whether they're independent or whether they are Republican. I want you to argue with them and get in their face. We got to have middle-class families up in front. We can't, we don't mind the Republicans joining us. They can come for the ride, but they got to sit in back. And then you got their plan, which is let's have dirtier air, dirtier water, less people with health insurance. This congressional Republican budget is something different altogether. It is a Trojan horse. Disguised as deficit reduction plans, it is really an attempt to impose a radical vision on our country. It is thinly veiled social Darwinism.
If you accept
accept the support of Klan sympathizers. Before you are president, you will accept their support after you're president.
Oh, there's Mr. Bring Us All Together, Klan sympathizers. And there's more. While running for president in 07 and 08, Obama blamed George W. Bush for all of America's problems. And not surprisingly, once President Obama got into office, he did the same thing for 8 straight years. He never takes responsibility. Here are just a few examples.
We were inheriting so many challenges. We knew this was going to take time, because we've got this big, messy, tough democracy. The previous administration and previous Congresses created an expensive new drug program, passed massive tax cuts for the wealthy, and funded 2 wars without paying for any of it. If we had taken office during ordinary times, we would have started bringing down these deficits immediately. These are far from the best of times. By any measure, my administration inherited a fiscal disaster.
Blame Bush. It's still going on. Now, the Bush blame game became so pathetic. I like to try and explain it, well, this way. If President Obama gets stung by a bee, if the dog bites, if the bee stings, if he's feeling sad, he blames George W. Bush. If he has a hangover for drinking too much, he blames George W. Bush and Jack Daniels. Now, the president is very thin-skinned, and he's even continually been lashing out at me. Should I take this personally? Watch this.
In 2012, Latinos voted at record numbers. The next day, even Sean Hannity changed his mind and decided immigration reform was a good idea. Rudy Giuliani said, Putin is what you call a leader. Mike Huckabee and Sean Hannity keep talking about his bare chest, which is kind of weird. With respect to Sean Hannity, I didn't know that he had invited me for a beer. His opinion of me does not seem to be very high, but I'm always good for a beer. I'll put Mr. Burgess up against Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up.
Tear me up. Is that a threat of violence? How should I take that? Now, President Obama will officially be out of power in 4 days. 4 days, this long nightmare ends, and he's leaving behind a huge mess that President-elect Donald Trump is going to be forced to clean up. But it appears that Donald Trump will be taking a much different approach than Barack Obama. Instead of doing nothing and blaming his predecessor for everything, President-elect Trump looks like he's actually going to try and fix the country's problems, the problems we all face. Here with reaction, author of the best-selling book, Treason, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. You know, when he gave his farewell address the other night, I went on air. I gave his economic record. If I talk about foreign policy, I could talk about Egypt, Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, North Africa, China, Putin, Russia, reset. I can't think of a single area of the world that's gotten better. And on the economy, I can't think of, or do I know of any measure I can cite that shows things have gotten better? Why does he have this compulsion of blame?
Well, I think that probably in his childhood, his favorite movie was Fantasia, and his whole life is a fantasy. You know, I mean, he lives in that. For him to behave the way he does, he has to be a combination of bitterly hostile to traditional America and living in a fantasy world. And every time you turn around recently, he's been doing something destructive on the way out. And I'm just glad it's only 4 more days, because literally, I just got a report about some things they're going to try to do that would change the rules for how we deal with electromagnetic pulses in a way which actually makes it harder to defend America. When you look at this stuff, you think, where are these guys? Why is their bias so much against traditional values and so much against defending America? And yet that's a fact. And so from his standpoint, maybe it's been a great 8 years because, you know, he got to be president, he got to go on vacation, he had a big house. Maybe people were suffering and maybe we were losing in the Middle East, but it didn't bother him very much. I mean, you know, if you have John Kerry reporting to you, you have no idea. I mean, think about it. He has no idea what's going on in the real world because Kerry is supposed to be explaining it to him.
Yeah,
Kerry doesn't know anything about
he doesn't know what's going on in the world. That's pretty dangerous. Thank God only 4 more days to go. You know, I've studied this man now for more than 8 years. For a solid 9 years, we have vetted him and vetted him. it is pretty amazing that there was never a sister soldier moment. There was never the era of big government is over, the end of welfare as we know it. There was never one moment that I can think about where he broke with his radical ideology, indoctrination. Can you think of any? And what does that say if somebody's that rigid?
No. He has consistently been everything he learned at Columbia undergraduate school from left-wing anti-American professors. He has lived out that kind of a life in a way that you were the only person, and I confess at times I thought you went too far, and I was clearly wrong. You were the only person in the summer of 2008 who broke the code, who knew what he was doing. But let me just for 1 second take you on a detour.
Okay.
Imagine our mood right there. Imagine our mood.
Yeah.
And the mood of all of our listeners if Hillary Clinton was being sworn in Friday.
I think our viewership would be cut in half.
I don't know of any gaffe bigger.
Listen, in 2012 when Romney lost, everyone was so depressed they just went away. They just left me for like 6 months on my own. I'm doing the show talking to myself every night. But there is a psychology here. Let's look at, for example, he sucks up to the Castro brothers. He gives the Iranians, the #1 state sponsor of terror, the $1.5 billion, pays a ransom, allows them to continue to spin their centrifuges, and then he betrays Israel with this latest UN resolution, ends wet foot, dry foot for Cuban refugees. It's like he's on the wrong side of everything. What does that tell you?
Yeah. Well, look, here's a chess question for everybody who studies this. If Barack Obama had set out to deliberately undermine and weaken America, what has he missed? I mean, what else would he have done? It is unimaginable how much damage he has done. And you're exactly right. The whole effort with the Iranians, who, by the way, now that we have paid basically ransom for one set of hostages, they've actually locked up more Americans.
Yeah.
You know, we're not getting any positive response. The whole deal with Israel, which is horrible, and which potentially, unless it's reversed by Trump, will set a stage for a disaster in the Middle East. You know, all these things, it's as though Barack and his team, President Obama and his team, set out to do everything they could to undermine America's position in the world as their going-away president.
Well, let me ask this question, because I think you're raising some really good points here. And here's a reality that I want you to tell me if you agree with. Because he didn't respect the Constitution, separation of powers, co-equal branches of government, ruled by executive fiat, Donald Trump is going to spend the first few hours of his presidency, or at least that first week, eliminating, I would argue, 75% of Obama's agenda. Then you repeal Obamacare and you replace Obamacare. That's another 10%. And the only thing we're stuck with is him doubling the debt or accumulating more debt than every other president before him combined, and the horrible judicial appointments. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's going to be like, and I think he's going to have a very hard time dealing with this, it'll be like he was never there. Fair?
Look, there was a very funny interview where somebody talked about, asked him, and he said his advice to President-elect Trump was to do more things through legislation because it's harder to turn around. And I think it's kind of like he'd finally figured out the joke, which is all this easy stuff he did with executive orders is easily turned around with executive orders. And you're right. I describe him as the incredible shrinking man. It's like watching air come out of a balloon. Between now and Easter, his legacy will shrink until it's about the size of a golf ball.
Do you agree with me? He's not going to handle this very well. Because I really believe in his heart, the reason he never broke from his leftist indoctrination, this is Frank Marshall Davis, a Alinsky disciple, Acorn, the Reverend Wright of the Church of GD America, Ayers and Dorn, he's never shown any capacity to grow. Don't most presidents, you're the historian, grow in that office? Don't they mature? Don't they reevaluate how they think and come to conclusions?
Well, but to grow, you have to learn new things. And I think he has basically a closed-loop system. He arrived with a set of very radical left-wing beliefs. He interpreted all the information he got through those left-wing beliefs. He surrounded himself with people who had only left-wing beliefs. And so by the time he left, there was no reason for him to have grown. I mean, I think his national security team probably thinks they've been very, very clever. They've weakened America in Cuba. They've weakened America in Venezuela. They've weakened America in the entire Middle East. They've weakened America in dealing with Russia. They actually probably think this is a success because their left-wing view is that a strong America is dangerous to the world.
All right,
but a weak America, by definition, isn't dangerous.
I bet, like when Reagan came into office, the world will see America very differently very quickly. I hope I'm right. We'll have more with Newt Gingrich right after this break, and also coming up tonight.
I think that they, including the president, should step up and get his people in line and tell them to grow up and accept the fact that they lost the election.
Go Reince Priebus. He's calling on the president to finally tell Democrats, accept the election results, and also tonight.
He promised a better deal economically for blacks. Are you going to give him a chance?
No, absolutely not.
Why not? Wouldn't you want a better economic deal if he keeps his word?
He will not keep his word because he's schizophrenic.
Our own David Webb traveling to the nation's capital this past weekend to speak with people attending the Reverend Al Sharpton's march in D.C. He's here later tonight along with Roy Murdoch. That and so much more, Michelle Malkin included, on this busy news night.
This program is brought to you by Cigna. Together, all the way.
Scalpel.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a TV doctor.
I never went to college.
I
don't do blood.
But now, thanks to Cigna, I can do more than just look the part.
Is that a foot?
We are the TV Doctors of America.
And we're partnering with Cigna to help save lives.
By getting you to a real doctor for an annual checkup.
So go, know, and take control of your health.
Doctor poses.
Cigna. Together, all the way.
I love my shop, but my back pain was making it hard to sleep and open up on time. Then I found Aleve PM.
The only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve.
Now, I'm back.
Aleve PM for a better AM.
Home Advisor is a very easy way to find a home contractor, and for me, it's the only way.
Home Advisor instantly connects you with top-rated pros for any type of home project.
If you need it, Home Advisor has it.
And it's completely free. Go to homeadvisor.com now.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that had the right experience.
I was spending half my day just reading resumes.
To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with one click. Then, easily select the best candidates from one list.
I'm seeing a lot more candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Over 1 million businesses have already used ZipRecruiter. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
With so many online degree options, we wanted to know why our students chose Southern New Hampshire University.
It is such quality education for the price.
And I love that it was an actual campus.
When I made that first phone call, they made it so easy. I like that it was a nonprofit school and there was a huge focus on education.
It's not about furthering themselves, it's about furthering me, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Find your online graduate or undergraduate program today and see yourself succeed at snhu.edu.
Live from America's News Headquarters, I'm Kelly Wright. Good evening. Here's what's happening. The suspect in the deadly Istanbul nightclub attack has been arrested. That's according to Turkish media, who says he was nabbed during a police raid at a friend's home. The shooting attack that happened during New Year's celebrations killed at least 39 people. Violence breaking out at Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park in Miami-Dade during a gathering to honor the late civil rights leader. Police say a shooting at the park injured 8 people. 2 suspects are being questioned, and 2 firearms have been recovered. The U.S. and Cuba agreeing to share information on international criminal activity. It would include terrorism, human trafficking, and money laundering. The cooperation is opposed by Republicans who don't think the U.S. should work with President Raul Castro's government. And that's a look at news. I'm Kelly Wright. Back to Hannity.
And welcome back to Hannity. So Democratic Congressman John Lewis, during an interview on Meet the Press, questioned the legitimacy of Donald Trump's presidency. And as you can imagine, it did not go over with key Trump supporters. Now, this is how incoming White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus responded yesterday. Take a look.
The point is that we've got congressmen on the Democratic side of the aisle that are questioning the legitimacy of President-elect Trump, who won in an electoral landslide. That's the issue. That's where the outrage should be, not old news, but the fact that we are preparing for the transfer of power, and we have been working with President Obama hand in glove, and I think that they, including the president, should step up and get his people in line and tell them to grow up and accept the fact that they lost the election.
And we continue with former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. I agree. Look, I've known John Lewis, and today's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and we celebrate this holiday. I have a lot of respect for John Lewis. You know my years broadcasting in Georgia. I met him and Joe Lowery and Maynard Jackson and Andy Young, Hosea Williams I was very close friends with. These are brave people. They fought back. Fire hoses shot at them. John Lewis got hit in the head with a brick. I admire people of courage. But he has now done this twice. He did it with George W. Bush in 2001, and now he's delegitimizing Trump. I think what he's doing here is destructive. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's very sad. John Lewis was a genuine American hero. The beating he took at Selma Bridge was historic, and his courage was part of what led to the end of segregation. But now he has a president who, in Charlotte in October, Donald Trump, as a candidate, said he wanted to create a new deal for African Americans. Back in September at a black church in Detroit, he talked eloquently about the importance of rethinking what had trapped people. In John Lewis's own area, there's far too much poverty. There is a rising crime rate, which even the Atlanta Journals had to begin to report about. There is a whole problem of the school system where there was a huge scandal of cheating on tests and where many, many poor children are not getting the education they need. And so I'm disappointed in John Lewis. I'm frankly disappointed in Reverend Sharpton. They have a moment here.
With all due respect, I don't expect any less from Sharpton. I mean, I really don't. I don't have any expectation that he's going to become reasonable tomorrow. It's not happening.
But the people he's betraying are the very African Americans who need a new deal. The people that John Lewis is walking off from are the very people who need a new deal. And I'm happy. I've known Al for a long time. Actually, there was a period where we worked on school choice together and talked about the need to get better quality education in the inner city together.
If these jobs
disappointed
are saved, if these jobs are saved in Michigan, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and choice in education fixes inner city schools, I think the fear is that all of a sudden there might be a shift in demographics, and Donald Trump will bring to the Republican Party the black community that has not been helped by Democrats. That's a possibility and probably a fear of theirs.
Well, maybe a fear, but here, this is where people like John Lewis, who really was an American citizen. He didn't march in Selma as a Democrat. He marched as an American, asking us to uphold American values and the American Constitution. And as an American, I would appeal to John Lewis to look seriously. I mean, I think it's fair for people to be skeptical of a Republican candidate who says he wants to have a new deal for African Americans. But the way to respond is to say, you know, if you're serious, President-elect Trump, here are 5 or 10 things you could do. Pick 3 or 4 of them. And let's work together to actually help people who are poor, people of color. The 4,000 people who were shot in Chicago last year. I mean, surely there has to be some sense in the black leadership in this country.
34 this weekend.
All of these years of devotion to the Democrats has failed.
Right,
it
last
hasn't
question.
improved their community.
I am worried about Republicans. I don't like $1 trillion in infrastructure spending that nobody's showing me how to pay for. I don't like the Republicans raising the debt ceiling $9.7 trillion over the next 10 years. And I am worried, based on what Chuck Schumer said, that he's going to filibuster and stop any appointment to the Supreme Court by Donald Trump, that Republicans won't have the spine to do what Harry Reid did. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the 2 greatest words that we have to worry about are reasonable and later. The establishment's going to try to say to Trump over and over again and to his team, you have to be reasonable. That means cave in. And then they're going to say, well, let's do it later. But let's not be too precipitous. I think the key is to set firm lines to push forward. I'm actually going to give a speech at Heritage tomorrow morning at 11, outlining how I think Trump's policies, to everybody's shock, could actually get us to a balanced budget by the end of his second term. I do think there are ways to rethink all of this, but I do think you're right to say we ought to stand firm on our values and we ought to insist. And I think Mitch McConnell's a smart enough tactician. He's going to find a way to pen Schumer in. And with all the Democrats who are up for re-election in 2018, I think they may find it a lot harder to sustain filibusters against Supreme Court nominees than Schumer thinks. That will be very unpopular in the country.
All right, Mr. Speaker, always great to see you. I'm going to see you this week. I'm going to be down in your neck of the woods, heading into Sin City. I'm going to Sin City on Wednesday night. We'll see you there. Well, that's what I call it. He's shaking his head. All right, coming up next tonight here on Hannity.
When has he told the truth?
Never.
Okay, fact check that.
All right, this weekend, our buddy David Webb, he went down to D.C., spoke with people attending the Reverend Al Sharpton's march. We're going to play the tape, get your reaction. David Webb, DeRoy Murdoch coming up. And later, Hollywood snowflakes continue to boycott Donald Trump's inauguration. Michelle Malkin has some words for them and more straight ahead.
Friday, after the inauguration ceremony, the historic night is just getting started. First, the Five gives us their take on all the big events. Then, Bret Baier weighs the Beltway reaction. Martha McCallum breaks down President Trump's first 100 days. And Bill O'Reilly gives us his no-spin take. Plus, the inaugural balls. Tucker Carlson is live covering the events. And Sean Hannity wraps up the night. The most watched, most trusted coverage of Inauguration Day is right here on Fox News Channel.
Hey, what did I got? She's asking for help. Everybody was
SEAL Team 6. It's who I am.
You never dishonor your country. You never dishonor this squadron. This is your family.
Custom event design is his expertise.
He can give you the details on cloud computing.
She's an expert in runway operations.
But these experts need HR experts to meet today's workplace challenges.
Employee benefit packages,
talent retention,
corporate telework policy.
HR professionals rely on SHRM's competency-based certifications to help them drive business success. Credentials that say,
I am ready.
Because I am.
I am
SHRM certified.
What if there was something that can reduce body fat, boost mood, get rid of wrinkles, tighten saggy skin, and make you look and feel decades, not years, but decades younger? Interested?
Get the facts at mycerevital.com.
Constipated? Trust #1 doctor recommended Dulcolax. Use Dulcolax tablets for gentle overnight relief, suppositories for relief in minutes, and stool softeners for comfortable relief of hard stools. Dulcolax, designed for dependable relief.
So how much longer do you think this will take?
I'll over-explain the process, then give you an unrealistic timeline.
I'll nod in agreement so my wife thinks I understand what you're saying.
I look forward to questioning your every move.
Okay, well, I'll leave your house in shambles and disappear for 6 months.
Wouldn't it be great if everyone said what they meant? The Citi Double Cash Card does. It lets you earn double cash back, 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. The Citi Double Cash Card. Double means double.
Welcome back to Hannity. So over the weekend, the Reverend Al Sharpton, he held a march on our nation's capital entitled, "We Shall Not Be Moved." It's not surprising, but it really is outrageous that the Reverend is calling for disunity before President-elect Donald Trump even takes office. Watch this.
We come not to appeal to Donald Trump because he's made it clear what his policies are and what his nominations are. We come to say to the Democrats in the Senate and in the House and into the moderate Republicans to get some backbone, get some guts. We didn't send you down here to be weak-kneed.
So why are Al Sharpton and these anti-Trump protesters so unhappy with the president-elect? Well, we sent David Webb to the march this weekend to speak with some of them. Take a look at this.
Do you think Trump deserves a chance to prove what he can do?
No. He shouldn't even be in office. He's illegitimate.
Well, he hasn't even been inaugurated yet.
Well, great. You don't need to be inaugurated. You should get rid of him right now, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I don't particularly want to give him a chance.
Why not?
I think he's already shown us who he is.
Everybody keeps talking about let's give him a chance, let's give him a chance. Well, he didn't give the President Obama a chance.
He talked on the campaign trail about a new deal for blacks. Economic opportunity, that's a big way you can get ahead in life. What do you think about it?
He told the truth. Okay, fact check that.
Why are you out here protesting?
Well, I'm protesting along with everybody else because of the injustice that I feel we will be encountering once the president-elect gets into office.
He promised a better deal economically for blacks. Are you going to give him a chance?
No, absolutely not.
Why not? Wouldn't you want a better economic deal if he keeps his word?
He will not keep his word because he's schizophrenic.
And joining us now, Fox News contributors David Webb, DeRoy Murdoch. David, how many people were there?
Sean, maybe there were 2,000 people. It was a small march. Al Sharpton just doesn't draw like he used to, and it barely filled the green between the press riser and the stage.
That's a pretty bad picture you're painting. Did you sense, did anybody you run into, anybody there, at least open to the idea maybe choice in education is good for the black community, bringing jobs and corporations back to Michigan and Cleveland and Milwaukee and Philly? Is anybody listening to what's happening or watching what's happening?
Yeah, I did find a few people that said they were willing to give him a chance, especially on the New Deal. They're looking at their economy, their jobs. But the majority of people are buying what Al Sharpton's selling, what Representative John Lewis is selling. Illegitimacy. He's a liar. He hasn't been inaugurated. They don't even want to give him a chance, but yet they're willing to give the failed policies another round, if you will.
Ford, Carrier, Fiat, Chrysler, Apple, the guy from China that wants to create 1 million jobs. All these people now, because of the new economic environment, lower taxation, less regulation, are saying, okay, we want to create jobs. Jobs are going to Michigan. They're going to Ohio. They're going to Tennessee. Yeah. Why would anybody be against that or be against school choice, considering the black community has been disproportionately negatively impacted by bad schools?
Today is MLK Day, and Donald Trump spent about an hour meeting with Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
All right, and they spoke about how to bring down poverty among black people. This is a very good thing. So we hear from the left that he's a hateful man, and this is a white supremacist, and all that sort of thing. And he spent about an hour today meeting with the son of Martin Luther King Jr. about how to make life better for black people. I think black folks.
And they had a good meeting, a productive meeting, according to MLK III.
Let's give this man, maybe 48 hours, 72 hours, maybe on Monday if things don't turn out, they can complain. The guy's not spent 2 minutes in the Oval Office.
But he's already got these companies pledging to stay. All right, here's a question we've got to ask. How does this man, the Reverend Al Sharpton, go to the White House with Obama? Everybody kisses the ring that's running on the Democratic side for president. How does this man get away with all of this?
I'm tired of the mac and cheese. You ain't nothing. You a punk. Now come on, do something.
We the best chicken fries in the universe. But we don't go buy some kind of sandwich chicken. Folks was in the cave when we had built empires. We learned to admire them, but they knew to admire us. We built pyramids before Donald Trump ever knew what architecture was. David. Yes. You want to be the only on television. The only in the newspaper. The only can talk.
David, how did this guy get to the White House and get Hillary to kiss his ring? And nobody talks about it but me. How did that happen?
It happens, Sean, because what Al Sharpton has done over time is he has aligned himself with the far-left policies. The National Action Network is nothing more than a megaphone for Barack Obama, for Hillary Clinton, the more left of the Democrat Party. But then what has he actually delivered? How many times have we gone into his marches and talked to the people that are there, and yet they keep accepting the failure that that comes out of the Democrat policies.
Did he talk to you
himself? 1 in 6 people in John Lewis's district live in poverty, according to the Census Bureau, but yet they're talking about the illegitimacy of Trump's presidency. They've done this before. John Lewis did it to George Bush, said he wouldn't go to his inauguration.
All right, hang on a second. Let me get...
Sharpton carries that message, and the real victims are the young people I talk to, because they actually buy into it, and they're in college, and they don't see anything different than what he's feeding them.
I think deep down what Sharpton left, what they fear, is not that Trump will fail, but that he'll succeed, that the economy will grow, that people will go back to work, that prosperity will boom, and black folks will go back to work in much higher numbers, and they'll say, you know what, this guy made things better, made America great again.
Is there
and
a shot to change the demographics in this country?
Oh, sure. Look, as it is, Trump won 8% of the black vote. Not a big number, but that's 2% higher than Trump had. He's that Romney had. He outperformed Romney, outperformed McCain. And if things go well and Trump succeeds, rather than the 8%, he might get 15, 20, 25% of the black vote. If that happens, the Democrats will be wiped out.
I think it all is going to be predicated on schools being improved, and jobs.
Yes.
And with energy independence, lower tax rates, repatriated money, eliminating Obamacare, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people.
The overall environment will improve. It'll be good for black people as well.
I would ask that Americans...
All right, we'll talk later.
I would ask
David,
that Americans remember the Cleveland speech that Donald Trump gave. And what he said in Cleveland to the American communities and underserved communities. It tells you that if he succeeds, as DeRoy said, that the liberal, progressive Democrats will lose.
All right, guys, thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
It's only 4 more days. The long national nightmare ends. When we come back, Michelle Malkin takes on Hollywood snowflakes who are boycotting Trump's inauguration. Later tonight, President-elect Trump is not mincing words. He's called German Chancellor Angela Merkel's immigration and refugee program a catastrophe and a mistake. Is he right? Dr. Sebastian Gorka joins us later tonight.
You're Gavin Stone.
You recognize me.
It was at the top of your rap sheet.
Coffee?
No, thanks. She's under a lot of stress. Being a pastor's kid.
She's Alan's daughter.
I don't think he gets the story.
But isn't this why we do what we do?
You guys gave me a second chance.
Gavin Stone, rated PG.
Do you know how your laxative works? You might be surprised. Stimulant laxatives make your body go by forcefully stimulating the nerves in your colon. Miralax is different. It works with the water in your body to hydrate and soften, unblocking your system naturally. Miralax.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure, make, and install right over your existing tub. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantees a watertight fit. Plus, they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Call today or learn more at bathfitter.com.
Hey, searching for a great used car?
Yeah.
You got it. Just say, show me millions of used cars for sale at the all-new Carfax.com.
I don't want one that's had a big wreck.
Just say, show me cars with no accidents reported. Pretty cool.
I like it.
That's the power of Carfax. Find the cars you want, avoid the ones you don't. Plus, you get a free Carfax report with every listing. Start your used car search at Carfax.com.
More doing chores for mom, parole? More doing chores for dad, parole. More earning something you love, parole. Bounty is more absorbent, so the roll can last 50% longer than the leading ordinary brand. So you get more life per roll. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is a pea, not something pretending to be a pea. It's a pea. That's slow-roasted chicken. Here's a carrot. These are the whole ingredients you'll see in every dish from Nutrish recipe. Real chicken or beef is the #1 ingredient. There's no corn, wheat, or soy. Now that's real love you can see in your dog's dish. Nutrish, real recipes, real ingredients, real good.
I'd lose 10 or 20 pounds and gain it right back.
I've tried the gimmicky diets.
It was hard to say that I needed help.
Everyone's challenge is different. That's why our dedicated consultants design your program to fit your life.
I absolutely needed a coach, and that's what I found in Belen.
She was real. She was honest.
She changed my life.
Call Jenny Craig now and lose 20 pounds for $20. Research proves with Jenny Craig, you can lose 3 times more weight than dieting on your own. Plus, you can get support even after you reach your goal. No more meal replacements or sacrifices. Enjoy healthy, ready-to-go versions of your favorite foods.
I get to eat all this, and I'm going to lose weight?
Call now and get $50 in free food. You can even meet with your consultant right over the phone. Plus, get free shipping or pickup.
Go for Jenny Craig. It works.
Call 1-800-49-JENNY and lose 20 pounds for $20. Plus, get $50 in free food. Hurry, this offer won't last long.
The Microsoft Cloud helps us stay connected.
The Microsoft Cloud offers infinite scalability.
The Microsoft Cloud helps our customers get up and running anywhere on the planet. Wherever there's a phone, you've got a bank. And we could never do that before.
The cloud gave us a single platform to reach across our entire organization. It helps us communicate better.
We use the Microsoft Cloud's advanced analytics tools to track down cyber criminals.
This cloud helps transform business. This is the Microsoft Cloud.
Introducing Cologuard.
I'm here for an important reason. Colon cancer screening. If you're age 50 or older and at average risk, Cologuard finds cancer and precancer. And it's a non-invasive test you can use at home. In fact, I'm as easy as get, go, gone. How do you get me? Your doctor orders me, and I'm delivered directly to your doorstep. There's no need for time off or special prep because I use the DNA in your stool to find colon cancer. Then you just go. I mean, collect your sample. Then I'm gone. Just ship me to the lab. Gotta go.
Cologuard is intended for individuals at average risk for colon cancer. Cologuard is not for high-risk individuals, including those with a history of colon cancer or polyps, IBD, certain hereditary cancer syndromes, or family history of colon cancer. Cologuard, colon cancer screening that's as easy as get, go, gone. Ask your doctor if Cologuard is right for you.
And welcome back to Hannity. So over the weekend, singer Jennifer Holiday backed off of performing in this week's inauguration, joining a long list of liberal Hollywood snowflakes who are boycotting this week's festivities. Still, one artist slated to perform in D.C. refuses to succumb to the social pressure of liberal Hollywood elites, and that man is none other than country music legend. I've always liked his music, my friend Toby Keith. He told Entertainment Weekly, quote, "I don't apologize for performing for our country or military. I performed at events for the previous presidents, Bush and Obama, and over 200 shows in Iraq and Afghanistan for the USO. Here with reaction, the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates, a great new hit series. It's at crtv.com. She's also my little sister, which is an inside joke. How are you? Good to see you, sis.
Good. I'm doing good, big brother.
All right. So first, you got to give Toby Keith props. And everybody's obsessed. Well, who's performing? Who's this? I don't know who the performers are. I don't care. It's really not about anybody but the president-elect, who's going to be president. Only one of 45 people to get that honor in the history of our country. What do you make all the bitterness here?
Yeah, well, it is historic, and I think what is changed from all of the other inaugurations that I've lived through in my adult lifetime, with the exception of Reagan, of course, is that you have a man who is going to D.C. And represents the people. And this is really going to be the people's celebration. It isn't about what level of celebrity that they can get. But I will tell you this, Sean, that the unhingedness, and by the way, that was the name of a book I wrote back in 2006, I believe, Unhinged, Exposing Liberals Gone Wild, and they've only gotten worse in the ensuing years, is that what it exposes is just how intolerant these people are. You know, it was Meryl Streep who just said a week ago that Hollywood and the press were the most vilified people on the planet. Try being a Hollywood celebrity who announces that they're going to perform at the inaugural celebration. Really, being a conservative in Hollywood, you are under fire. And it is no coincidence, I think, Sean, that really the only people in the entertainment industry that are allowed to be conservative out of the closet are country music stars like Toby Keith.
What do you make of the agitators that are threatening to disrupt in a major way? And we've heard all sorts of different stories in the last 24 hours that it seems pretty real and a severe threat to people's safety. And You know, I guess it's going to be what it's going to be, but it sounds scary, and they just seem to be incapable of accepting what the results are.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. The Trump administration represents a return to law and order. And this poses an existential threat to the rule of the mob. That's the social justice agitators who've had their way for the last 8 years, the anarchists, the collectivists, the anti-capitalists, the Occupy Wall Street crowd, every last subsidized George Soros outfit community organizing group in America, many of them, of course, taxpayer subsidized. And we've seen these outbreaks of violence, this deliberate disorder on the part of many of these groups, and it dates back years and years and years. It's not just in America, it is a global movement. And
we've seen it with Occupy and everything else. Yeah, it's going to be.
Yes, and I'm
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm praying out there for law enforcement, because this is going to be a task like we've never seen before. You know, we've seen the WTO riots in Seattle. We've seen the G20 riots. We've seen these people, the black bloc types, agitate at both the Democratic and Republican national conventions. But they are out for blood. And it is no joke that both our law enforcement officials and, of course, everyone in the Trump administration themselves have to take extra precautions. And where are all of those people who are condemning the climate of hate and violence? Silent, as usual.
All right, Michelle, good to see you as always. Congratulations on your new investigative series on CRTV. Thank you. And coming up tonight, in an interview, President-elect Trump says German Chancellor Angela Merkel made a, quote, catastrophic mistake by taking in all the refugees. Up next, we'll get reaction from Dr. Sebastian Gorka, and, of course, much more straight ahead.
No matter how the markets change, at T. Rowe Price, our disciplined approach remains. Global markets may be uncertain, but you can feel confident in our investment experience around the world. Call us or your advisor. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
I love my shop, but my back pain was making it hard to sleep and open up on time. Then I found Aleve PM.
The only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve.
Now, I'm back.
Aleve PM for a better AM.
Favorite part about being a dad, just to see their faces in the morning when I wake them up. You know, the first thing you think about is your wife, your kids, and your family. So I had surgery locally, and it came back after my follow-up that I needed a second surgery. And that's when I said I need a second opinion. Everyone, from the moment I walked through the doors, they're smiling, and I love the fact that they included me in the whole process.
The diagnosis of cancer is one of those things that you want an answer now. We can do now here. Rod was great. I mean, he did everything that we asked him and more. The treatment plan was for him to have chemotherapy and radiation, followed by surgery.
I feel like this was the right way for me, the right treatment for me.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we treat cancer every stage, every day. Call or go to cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Sandals. More quality inclusions than any other resorts on the planet. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
New girl, huh?
Yeah,
I couldn't help but notice you checking out my Name Your Price tool. Yeah, this bad boy gives you coverage options based on your budget.
Oh.
Oh, not so fast, tadpole. You have to learn to swim first.
Claire, here's your Name Your Price tool. Oh, thanks, Flo. Jamie, don't forget to clean the fridge when you're done. She seems nice.
She seems nice. She's actually pretty nice.
Oh.
The press versus Trump? He becomes president in less than a week. Will the mainstream media continue their attacks? Krauthammer and Hume weigh in on the next Factor tonight.
According to the Department of Justice, more than 2 million homes are broken into every year.
And in 1 out of 3, a family member is home.
Not on my watch.
This is why we designed SimpliSafe, the highest caliber home protection. SimpliSafe's award-winning security keeps your family safe around the clock. SimpliSafe works if your home loses power. It works if your phone line is cut. It even works if someone smashes your keypad. And with the new SimpliSafe security camera, you can keep watch over your home from anywhere. Tech experts call it better, smarter home security, and it's recommended in the New York Times, Fortune Magazine, CNET, and more. With SimpliSafe, you can protect your home with award-winning 24/7 professional home monitoring for only $15 per month. And with the SimpliSafe camera, you'll see what happens whenever your system detects activity at home. And unlike other security systems, SimpliSafe won't lock you into an expensive long-term contract. Order your system today and get $200 off SimpliSafe's exclusive holiday package, plus free shipping. With entry, motion, and glass break sensors, it has everything you need to safeguard your home for the holidays. Hurry, this offer expires soon. Try SimpliSafe for a full 60 days. You'll be certain your family is safe or your money back. In the last 2 minutes, 5 homes were broken into, but not this one. Go to picksimplisafe.com.
Welcome to SimpliSafe. Alarm on.
And welcome back to Hannity. President-elect Donald Trump. He recently sat down for a joint interview with 2 major European newspapers where he slammed German Chancellor Angela Merkel for her open-door policy on refugees. Now, Trump told the papers, quote, "I think she made one very catastrophic mistake, and that was taking all of these illegals, you know, taking all of the people from wherever they come from. And nobody even knows where they come from. So I think she made a catastrophic mistake, a very bad mistake." Now, Chancellor Merkel is reportedly waiting until Trump takes office to respond. But after a wave of deadly terror attacks in Europe, doesn't the president-elect have a good point? Joining us now, the author of the best-selling book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War, Fox News counterterrorism strategist, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. You know, I think it's pretty transparent. We see the magnitude of how bad these decisions are, but in a broader sense, the Islamization of Europe, to me, is even worse because there's now a cultural divide. There really are no-go zones, for example, right?
Look, Sean, there's 2 issues here. Number one is the exploitation of the refugee streams by the jihadists. That's just a fact. We know that people with asylum-seeking status were part of the plots to attack Brussels. The second issue is the one you've mentioned. Yes, these areas where you have high concentrations of Muslim immigrants that aren't actually integrating to that given society. And the smoking gun in all of that is, do you remember the mastermind of the Paris attacks? He escapes the scene of the crime, and everybody thinks, well, of course he's gone to Syria or he's hiding in Iraq. What do we find out 4 months later? He's in Brussels. He's being given soccer. He's being hidden by people in those radical communities for 4 months in the heart of Europe. That tells you everything you need to know about the failed immigration policies.
I keep speaking about what I call this cultural divide. If you come from a country and women can't drive, you tell them how to dress, they can't go to work or school without a husband's permission, gays and lesbians are killed, and, you know, women are treated horribly, marital rape is not a crime in some of these countries. If you come from a country like that, it's kind of hard to bridge the divide because it's the antithesis of what in our case, a democratic republic or a democracy is all about. In our case, our Constitution, correct?
It is. It's the unwritten social contract. My parents were immigrants to the United Kingdom. America is full of immigrants. I grew up in an immigrant community. And what's the deal you make? You say, I'm going to come here. I'm going to profit from the safety, from the economic growth of this country. But the only way I can do that is if I buy into the cultural values of that nation, whether it's Germany, whether it's the UK or America. And the equality of the sexes, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, these are things that are not negotiable. You can't say, well, in this part of Bradford, you can't wear a miniskirt because we'll chase you out because it's un-Islamic. That is not part of the social contract.
And inevitably, I think when Donald Trump starts vetting, extreme vetting of refugees, we're going to see and hear one charge after another. This is racist. This is Islamophobic, correct? This is going to be a big battle.
The left hasn't given up. I think what we're seeing right now with the ridiculous Russia dossier and everything else is that the left-wing media, and especially the radicals, the people that have taken the Democrat Party hostage, they don't understand what happened on November the 8th. On November the 8th, the American voter decided we want common sense and we want safety. And everything that Donald Trump is going to do as president is going to be about safety, security, and economic growth, but they won't give up their narrative. Of course, the people who support the new administration will be labeled haters, you included, me included, but we know we're doing what is absolutely good for the republic.
Well, if it puts one American at risk, it's not worth it. And that's what we've got to consider first and foremost. Dr. Gorka, good to see you. We'll see you later in the week in D.C. Appreciate you being with us. All right, when we come back, we need your help. A very important question of the day, and that's straight ahead.
There's a new place for senior care with daily laundry service. A place with a day spa. A place where seniors get the care they need in the comfort of home. Home Instead Senior Care.
You are Navy SEAL.
24 hours ago, armed men captured former troop chief at this command. Sir, my team wants that mission.
Every TV doctor knows that when it comes to hospital romances, the more complicated, the better.
I love you.
But I love him.
I love him too.
So do I.
They also know you should get your annual checkup.
It could save your life.
It's a new year. Schedule your checkup today to learn your 4 health numbers and start the year off right. Cigna, together all the way.
Let life in with new herbal essences. Bursting with argan oil of Morocco and notes of jasmine. Sure to put more life in your hair and your head. New herbal essences. Let life in.
You wouldn't believe what's in this keister.
A farmer's market, a fire truck, even a marching band. And if I can get comfortable talking about this keister,
Then you can get comfortable using Preparation H.
for any sort of discomfort in yours.
Preparation H. Get comfortable with it.
You have a vision. It drives you. It inspires you. It's behind everything you do. Even when you least expect it, it comes through. You know what you want, and we can help make it real. You want choices? We've got lots. Pick a design. Make it your own. And if you get stuck, we can help. Add a special finish. Or try a premium paper. Whatever you choose, we absolutely guarantee the paper, the printing, even your design. Every time, for any reason. Because you have a vision. And we have your card. 500 start at just $9.99 when you enter promo code BC500 at Vistaprint.com.
Your ancestors preserved food for the hard times they knew would come. Shouldn't you prepare as well? With a Harvest Right home freeze dryer, you can preserve all your favorite foods for up to 25 years. Meats, fruits, vegetables, ice cream, even lasagna can be freeze dried right in your home, maintaining their original taste and nutrition. This just might save your life. For more information, call today or visit harvestright.com. Harvest Right. Long live your food.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We actually use change. Luckily, there are some things we can still afford.
Like Consumer Cellular.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month, and plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones.
Well, sure do.
And we're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service. Switch to Consumer Cellular. With our 30-day risk-free guarantee, it's easy. Call, go online, or visit a Target store today.
Jill in Seattle, take us away. Great job, everybody. Nice work.
What'd you take?
6 a.m. live class with Jess. She's awesome.
Good for you. I think I'm gonna do last week's pro ride with Ted.
Ah, ambitious.
Is it bad that I'm already out of breath?
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their